6, 7. Chairman Billy Lerma. Roland Barrera. Barbara Canales. Barbara Canales. She's attending via WebEx. Barbara Canales.
I think she's at the Heritage thing.
Okay. Gil Hernandez.
Here.
Michael Hunter. Susan Hutchinson. John Martinez. Ben Molina.
Present.
Mike Pusley. James Sedgwick. Greg Smith. Peter Zanoni.
Present.
Did you get me?
Paulette Wahardo.
Present. Well, I didn't say, I don't know if you called my name.
Yeah,
Just make sure I'm here.
I think I did, but anyway,
Okay.
you're here. The honor.
Yeah. Oh, God.
A quorum of the board is present to conduct the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Go to public comments. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment? Mr. Prosciutto, do we have any written, or receive any written comments?
We have not.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move to item G, agenda items. Item 1, motion authorizing a downtown development reimbursement agreement for UBEO LLC located at 402 South Chaparral Street. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, board members. Elizabeth Mason, Director of Downtown Management District. The first item we have before you is a development agreement for UBEO. They are proposing to go in 402 South Chaparral Street, and we'll give you a brief overview of the project. So UBO is an end-to-end provider of business technology solutions. They're wanting to establish an office in downtown Corpus Christi. They office out of San Antonio and currently service the entire region from there. So it's great that they're wanting to add this office and create some jobs in downtown. So they will be using a site, we call this Suite D of the building that also houses Nueces Brewing Company, Victory Building, and we've been assisting that building and kind of getting reactivated with various incremental support along the way. So this is going to be kind of their another third-party tenant. The project cost is about $350,000. It's 3,000 square feet, so we're proposing to support them with $30,000. A little bit more about the company. They provide business services including technology assessment, image system, digital documenting. This is the current condition of the property. As you recall, we did assist the property owner with improving the streetscape. So previously, this whole area was boarded up. The road was crumbling, the sidewalk was crumbling. It was just completely unusable. So we went and supported their streetscape improvements. They recast the sidewalk. They put in windows. They put in doors. The city then repaved the street in front of it, which was completely cratered, restriped it, and so now we actually have a space that a business can go into and be proud of. And you can kind of see the center, the pad site is white boxed, so they went ahead and kind of did that additional step, separated those spaces so that they could lease them individually. This is the concept. So this is similar finishes to what is currently in the Victory Building office. These are what the restrooms look like. These are the project costs. So we have our finish out costs separated by line item as well as other costs related to the project. And we're recommending a $30,000 commercial finish out incentive to be completed by July of '23.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any questions, board?
I move for approval.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Is the
Ms.
judge-
Canales? Barbara Canales, did you vote?
She's probably not. I don't think she's with us.
She was here earlier. I don't hear her vote now, though.
Maybe she had to step away.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to item 2, motion authorizing amendment to the reimbursement agreement with Corpus Christi Point LLC. Ms. Mason?
Chairman, board members, this item is an extension for the Point Patio. This was a project we actually first saw this time last year. The scope of the project grew significantly into a complete, actually, remodel of the interior of the business. So that combined with different contractor kind of connections and identifying who was going to be able to complete the work kind of prevented us from making any real progress on that project over the past year. So the applicant has requested an additional year extension, and we are bringing that forward to this board at this time.
Any questions, board? I see none. I have a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
We have a second? Then moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, motion approving the 8th amendment to the TIRZ 3 project and financing plan. Ms. Mason?
Yes, sir. So this item is an amendment to our project plan to add a category to enable us to work on technology, innovation, and startup ecosystem development in downtown Corpus Christi. As it states in the project plan, there's one main paragraph that kind of indicates, there's over 3 million square feet of office space in downtown Corpus Christi that stayed at, 30-40% vacancy since the 1980s. Some buildings are entirely vacant. And so while we've worked on that street level vibrancy since 2016, and we've been making good progress, we've known that those buildings are kind of looming. It's been an item of discussion. I know the mayor has been really focused on innovation and tech and how do we move that forward. And so now that we've made that progress, we really want to go ahead and add the capacity of working on entrepreneurial ecosystem development, startups, and tech-led innovation. So what does that mean, right? Growing up in Corpus Christi, people would always ask, why aren't there tech jobs in Corpus Christi? We've been able to identify it has a lot to do with quality of life, retaining our best and brightest. We've been making strides with that downtown by adding bars, restaurants, entertainment, things for people to do. I think about 2 more years of consistent delivery in that area, and downtown will really be unrecognizable. So now it's a good time for us to go ahead and codify this strategy and our intent to kind of work in this area. We've been researching entrepreneurial ecosystems, so we've visited San Antonio. Some of the people involved in small business development and innovation there actually went to school in Corpus Christi and have moved on to those larger markets. So they're working with us and helping us develop what it is that we are going to look like in Corpus Christi. The Downtown Houston Reinvestment Zone Plan actually has a statement to this effect, and so we wanted to go ahead and utilize the TIRZ as a tool to make that possible. So this brings the TIRZ project plan into the alignment with the DMD service plan. It codifies a priority of the mayor's. We started meeting about this at the beginning of this term, really with a large focus of it in partnership with the EDC and the university. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Wahardo?
Well, I want to kind of restart this by saying this is super exciting. This is a very big deal for Corpus Christi because we are diversifying, and we've all heard talk about diversifying what Corpus Christi is. Michael Hunter, I'm sorry he's not here because he brings it up a lot too. And Michael has met with myself, with Alyssa. Alyssa and I went to San Antonio. We visited Geekdom. I think there could be some council members who did a few years ago. I'm not sure, right? Ben, you did with Ian, but this is a really big step for us. It's super exciting because this is what's going to attract a completely different, a whole different sector, right, of people that are out there. And they just there's not a place. We don't have a place for them. So I'm so excited about this. And I really believe that this is going to set our city on a map that we are not on right now. And that's the tech and innovation. And of course, we're going to do this in partnership with the university because here he comes. All right, Michael, I must start over. No, let me tell you why. Did you hear me? Innovation, tech, remember our conversation and meeting. So it's happening. So this has to happen before it really launches in terms of how do we create a co-working space. The university, hopefully, I'm going to say the university will bring that innovation center from Flower Bluff downtown to their building, and it is going to set us off in a new direction, in a direction that you've been advocating for many years now. and it's happening. And I just want to tell you guys, it was super impressive to go in San Antonio Geekdom. I think you've been. I was impressed to no end, and it took me a few years to get there. But it was worth the trip, and I would encourage all of us to go visit to see how this works. It's a whole nother ballgame in terms of technology and innovation. So thank you for your leadership in moving this forward, Alyssa. As you can see, I'm very excited.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I
I'm
had one
sorry.
question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Some of our other programs, we reimburse like 50% of the cost up to so many dollars. And in the residential side, we reimburse like $10,000 a unit. And I may be inaccurate in quoting the policies, but if we're adopting this as a policy, are we going to put any type of spending restraints, limitations, or is this a premature question? Do we not know what those limitations need to be?
Correct. It's a little, it's not that it's a premature question, it's that without this adopted as a policy, there's really no space for us to be working on this subject matter through the reinvestment zone. So we really needed to include this to bring that into alignment with our downtown service plan, and really authorize us to spend time kind of developing this policy. So we're not sure what that looks like yet, but this kind of plants the flag and states we are going to be pursuing a co-working space, we are going to be pursuing internet expansion downtown, and those are two really big kind of basics that we need in order to be able to move forward in this arena.
Okay, so this is really step one in
Yeah.
moving forward, and then you're gonna come back with
A
probably
proposal,
further
yes,
policy
yeah.
definitions as how we, what might be brought forth as far as limitations and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pusley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alyssa, along with Jim's question, one of the things that downtown still struggles with is the fact that many of the office buildings in downtown Corpus Christi still are having trouble with renting out space. Lots of vacant space. COVID didn't help that. A lot of companies learned that they could work from home almost as effectively as they could from an office building. So do you see this as possibly one way of helping to shore up some of those vacant spaces? And I think for future discussion, that's something we really need to bring to the forefront in talking about ways that we might be able to help with that, because those vacant offices, you used to have to fight for a parking place uptown. Now you can park anywhere. It's amazing what a difference it's made. And we have a bank that has closed up, the old petroleum tower, which I guess will outlast all of us, but it's been vacant for 20 plus years, maybe 30 plus years, I don't know. But we really need to start talking about those kind of things if we ever really want to hope to make the downtown TIRZ a success.
Yes, sir. 100% this is related. It's important for the overall economic health of the community, but primarily why we're talking about bringing this through the reinvestment zone is because these buildings are in the reinvestment zone, and it is undermining, Jason could probably elaborate on it too, but it's like undermining the demand and the value for office space. So it makes it really hard for any investor to come back and invest in an office building when the rents are so low, and then we don't have a lot of new users, right? And so this is a strategy to kind of generate an entire new sector of people to utilize these office spaces. Additionally, the co-working space, particularly with the change in work environments, people can remote work now. So we have people who are coming to Corpus Christi, moving here from Austin, tech founders, renting houses. There's nowhere for them to go work. And so having a place for them to go and set up their laptop and connect with other tech people, right, or entrepreneurs or anything along those lines is a really important part of our value proposition for downtown. Right now, they're kind of gathering at Lucy's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so we really need something a little bit more professional for them to be able to do that. And then I believe the whole system will start kind of developing. But yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. Okay, so let me understand this. This is to create a space for people to go work in just randomly, or Or is this supposed to be like an innovation thing where people can go similar to how the university set that building up in Flower Bluff?
So an incubator, so what the university has in Flower Bluff is an incubator, and that's like a next level place, right? So when somebody actually has a business model, they have it together, they're looking to kind of grow and scale that business and looking for different feedback, that's when they apply and get accepted to an incubator. But a co-working space is actually something, in San Antonio, it's membership-based, so somebody pays $50 a month and they can go and they can utilize this shared conference room, they can utilize a desk, they can set up meetings with other entrepreneurs that are there, they bounce ideas off of each other, and it's basically just like a super highly connected network of a bunch of creative people that are looking to monetize and create new businesses.
Yeah, I've seen something like this in the private sector where you can rent out office space on a temporary basis so you can look professional instead of working out of your house kind of thing, or hold meetings or something along those lines. But how is this going to work? How do we participate in something like that if it is, what are you looking, is it just to set up Wi-Fi? What is it that specifically are you looking to do?
So the co-working space is one piece of what it is that we're going to be looking for. We want to develop a strategy for that, but without having it adopted as a policy or a statement of something we want to do through the reinvestment zone, we're kind of like off the reservation and trying to work on something like that. So that's why we need to state it here first to really be able to move it forward. And then the internet connectivity is just something that kind of undermines right now our ability to kind of be a serious kind of tech space downtown. So we do have challenges with internet connectivity. In some more advanced places, Chattanooga got like fiber installed in their downtown, and then it attracted a whole bunch of people who were leaving from Nashville. So we want to explore that, working with the city as well, but to kind of understand what our current capacity is and how we need to upgrade in order to stay competitive.
Okay, I guess I'm just trying to see how we fit into this.
So
Are we looking to put in fiber? I mean, is that, where do we fit in on this?
So with the reinvestment zone tool, we're able to do construction, right, for buildings, and we're able to put in infrastructure. So that's why we're recommending this to be a tool for us to develop the strategy for those things. We don't know exactly
you
what
would
that.
still need to have a private, somebody that owns the building.
Correct.
That is going to be a partner in this.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you have a partner?
We have a few spaces in mind, but we have not gone through the feasibility period or feasibility process for those spaces yet.
And do you have a percentage of what you would like to invest? I mean, in terms of what the private investment is versus our investment?
No, sir.
So
Yeah.
this is not kind of this isn't baked yet. You're just.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, we're saying, hey, we want to make a cake.
You just want to make the dough, it seems like.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Hunter, would you like to comment?
Sure. Since I've been focusing
Yeah.
on this direction for a long time, I think it's great. I think it's 10 years, 20 years too late. But thank you, Alyssa. And I do apologize about 3 years not going with you to Geekdom. I had already been to it. It is a great place. I'm not sure when we do this, it may not have the greatest kickoff. And I think that's what Councilman Hernandez is concerned with, because we don't have the complementary groups to go with it yet, but that's what we're trying to do. And we do need that, and we're gonna need a separate push to figure out how to bring those in. But once they come, like Field of Dreams, yeah, they'll come. So I think it's great. When we were growing up, I was always building computers, working on them on the internet all the time, and I would find out that Corpus Christi, not just because of our location, because of our business environment, and I guess our economic dealings, that we would get technology literally later than the rest of the country. When it comes to movies, iPhones, iPads, all these different things. When they were first coming out, we were literally behind them. And if you don't want that to happen, again, we got to be doing stuff like this. How many years ago were we listening to CDs? Well, these innovations happen at places like this, or this is where they start, or people's garages like the Macintosh. So we need these kinds of things And I think we have a lot of people in Corpus Christi that could utilize it, especially the younger group, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Mr. Pusley?
Yeah, Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong, but what the university has planned for the downtown area, and I mean, that's going to be a real technology center for them.
Correct, yes, sir.
So that should help spur some of this on.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that has been one of, because the university is kind of putting that flag in the ground, it enables us to then be like, okay, well, this is how we support the entire ecosystem. They're definitely a key piece in the puzzle. The Innovation Center incubator will be moving down there. The drone program will be moving down there. I think they have a couple of other like centers, like research centers that they're going to be putting in that space, which will be great. And so this will be really a perfect complement in order to legitimize, right, and just kind of expand that and create an entry point to that community that is not, you want multiple entry points. So this would establish another entry point that's a little bit just more community-based.
Okay, yeah, I think that helps this whole thing get started, and as Councilman Hunter alluded to, you know, the next great thing is just around the corner in technology, and it would be fine with me if it happened here, so.
Absolutely.
This is,
I agree.
this is an opportunity for us to provide that sort of thing, because literally, if you look at some of these great startups, they started in somebody's garage.
Right.
Or their, you know,
Oh, sorry.
attic of their grandmother's house, or whatever the case may be, so. But I keep trying to convince my wife that all that stuff I have in the garage is gonna pay off. But anyway.
From Home Depot?
Exactly, right. So, anyway, but thank you. I think this is a good step forward.
Yeah, I agree. Ms. Wahadla?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I like want to present. So, and I want to your point, this is really interesting. This is something I learned over there, because you're absolutely right. I said, wait a minute, how does this work? This is so, and the people were there, sitting in these little areas, doing their little work, and like, what is their little work, right? Well, for example, downstairs in the basement, we have a vending machine that's on an honor system. And you can go down there and grab a sandwich, and then you pay for it on your own. That started at Geekdom. That machine was created or invented, whatever, at Geekdom. And so it's so interesting, because I said to Alyssa, but where are these people? Like, who? And they're out there. They just don't have a place. Now, and I always remember this, the lady, and I forget her name, who created Spanx Garage. And so Spanx, we love Spanx. You guys don't know about any of that? You know what? There are Spanx for men. T-shirts, I think there are. But that's a great example. And so now this would be a great place. But here's the real catch to this. You can still do it in your garage. Shark Tank. Those guys start in the garages, right? Or not necessarily, but a lot of them do. But here's the real magic to this. And you really have to see it to believe it. There is an energy in that room, because you're feeding off of each other. You, James, are trying to do the same thing I'm doing, and I'm supporting you, and you're supporting me. So it's like this family of, you know, let's make things happen. It's interesting. You know, it's not necessarily my deal. Like, I couldn't do that. You have to be very disciplined to go there, do your work, accomplish, make it happen, because you're paying. It's not a lot of money, but you're still paying monthly to use that desk. But it's the resources around you that you don't have in the garage. And so, yes, Councilman and both of you, this is truly it's a huge step forward, and it can't be done without the innovation. This is a piece to the Innovation Center, the one for the university. You got to have them both. You can't just have one. So we are actually adding to. This is the second piece, and like Alyssa mentioned, Councilman Hernandez, we can't move forward without this being in the policy, and then we start figuring out, okay, how does this co-worker space work? I mean, co-space, right?
Co-working space.
Co-working space work. Who pays for it? Who mans it? Is there a board? How do we create? All these things happen after we do this, which is, you know, basically launching. So, thank you.
Thank you, Board. Anyone else have a comment?
Let us know if you need help getting fiber.
Well, looks like we have the support. Okay, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve.
Approve. Move to approve.
Moved and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, it seems like that's all we have. I'd just like to make a comment to Alyssa and her team on the fabulous work that you guys have done in the downtown, the decorations and all that. It's very festive. We really enjoyed this past weekend. The mayor and I riding around wet on hay bales, judging the decorations of the businesses. And let me tell you guys, it took us 4 hours to do it. I thought it was going to be like a 30-minute ride. It took 4 hours of being out in the weather, but we enjoyed it. Everybody had a blast. It was fun. There was a lot of, every place you went to, they had a hot tonic for you.
You had some hot toddies.
But it was fun. It was a blast, and I was so happy to see so many businesses getting involved. That's the key to all this. A lot of business. 40. I don't know how many was in
It
that.
was about 30.
30. I mean,
Yeah.
but some went all out, some did a little bit. But you know what? That's the beginning. That's what we want. We want that foot traffic in the downtown area, and this is going to provide more foot traffic downtown because there was parents with their children and all that looking at all this. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate like we wanted to. And it was Art Fest 2 week, so that kind of helped too. But once again, to you and your staff, Alyssa, great job. Keep doing the work you guys are doing in the downtown area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, no other business. This meeting is adjourned.